This footage shows the final moments of Keeley Bunker before she turned up dead in a park. She was celebrating her 20th birthday with a few friends, one of whom was 20-year-old Wesley Streete. The two had known each other since childhood, and Keeley completely trusted him. So when he offered to walk her home, she readily agreed, not knowing that he was a vile predator masquerading as a nice guy. So what really happened? How did Keeley die? And how did Wesley's true nature remain hidden for so long? Let's explore this heartbreaking case of Keeley Bunker, the innocent 20-year-old who was raped and murdered by a childhood friend by accident. Born on September 7th, 1999, Keeley Bunker was a beautiful, vibrant, and outgoing young woman from Tamworth, UK. Her family described her as a kind, caring person who would do anything for anybody and didn't have a bad bone in her body. She loved children and often talked about how she'd like to have 3 or more of her own. When this horrific incident happened, Keeley was scheduled to go to an interview at her former elementary school to work as an assistant teacher. Sadly, someone she'd known her entire life crushed all her dreams. On September 18, 2019, Keeley, who had just turned 20 years old, wanted to celebrate this milestone by attending a concert by her favorite rapper, H, at the O2 Institute in Birmingham. She was really excited about this, as you can see in the tweet she posted 2 days earlier. Only thing keeping me going is seeing H on Wednesday. Hopefully he'll see me and we'll get married, XXX. She attended the concert with her best friend, Monique Riggin, and the two girls had a wonderful time. After the concert, they met up with another friend named Wesley Streete, and they went to a nightclub called Snobs to continue with the celebrations. Now, Wesley, who is also 20 years old, had known Keeley since preschool and had maintained their friendship throughout the years. So Keeley really trusted Wesley, never for one moment thought that he would do anything to hurt her. Here's the footage of Wesley at Birmingham New Street train station going to meet up with the girls after the concert. In this footage, Keeley and Monique are seen at the entrance of the Snobs nightclub after meeting up with Wesley. Keeley is seen here dancing and having fun at the club, and nothing seems off. Wesley can also be seen laughing and enjoying himself. The 3 friends left the club at around 3:30 a.m. and took a club to Monique's home. They arrived at Monique's home at 4 a.m. and as they were standing outside, Monique asked Keeley to stay over for the night, but she declined, saying she was too tired and wanted to go home since she had an interview later in the afternoon. Keeley's house was just a short walking distance away, and she assured her friend that she'd be okay because she had Wesley with her. She said, "I've got Wes, I'll be fine, I'll walk back with him, I'll be safe." Heartbreakingly, it would turn out that she was wrong about Wesley. Keeley's family and friends began getting worried when she didn't show up for the big job interview that she had been so excited about. They tried calling and texting her, but got no response. Monique then contacted Wesley to see if Keeley had stayed over with him because he had suggested at one point that both girls could sleep at his house, but they both refused. Wesley claimed that he had left Keeley at a telephone booth near his house, and she walked the rest of the way alone. When Monique told him that Keeley had not returned home, he became angry, saying that he was being accused of Keeley going missing. Around 5:30 p.m. that day, Keeley's family called the police to report her missing, and since Wesley was the last person to see her, he was brought in for questioning. He told the police the same thing he had told Monique, that he left her near a telephone booth. The police then asked him to show them the exact location he left her and the route that they'd walked to get there, and he was very cooperative.
You know which way she walked at all?
No. I'm guessing she went there.
Okay.
She was going there.
Which way would she go home normally?
This way.
Back that way? Yeah? Okay. Is that the way you would walk if...
Yeah.
But then, after the police asked for his phone, he became super anxious and completely defensive.
Okay. Just as part of the investigation, mate, I actually need to grab your phone off you.
Yeah.
Is that alright? Can I just grab it, mate?
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
Lovely, thank you.
Meanwhile, the search for Keeley continued, with her family, friends, and police scouring the area for any sign of where the 20-year-old could have gone. Then, at around 9 p.m., Keeley's uncle, Jason Brown, who was a part of the search party combing Wingington Park, which was near the telephone booth where Wesley claimed he had left Keeley, noticed something in a stream that was located at the edge of the park and ran through a tunnel. As he went closer to investigate, he saw hair and an arm with a bracelet on, and let out a horrendous scream. Everyone ran to his side to see what was going on, and they saw him staring in horror inside a tunnel where the lifeless body of his niece lay face down in the water. Her inner clothes had been pulled down, and there were marks on her neck indicating she had been choked to death. Whoever had done this had forced himself upon her, ended her life, and attempted to cover her body with branches. The case was now a murder investigation, and Wesley, being the first suspect, was immediately arrested. Here is the body cam footage of his arrest.
Wesley, you need to listen to me. Right, this moment in time, you're under arrest for suspicion of murder.
In the background, you can hear Wesley's anxious parents talking to the police and wanting to know why their son was being arrested. On the way to the police station, Wesley allegedly told police he was hungry and if there was any food to eat when he got there. Then at the station, an officer asked him how he was feeling, and he replied, "A bit sad. I wouldn't even say a bit sad, just sad."
So you'll need to ask you some questions, and all those questions are just to check that you're okay, and that he knows how to look after you. That's all. He or she, I should say.
Have you had any alcohol or drugs in the last 24 hours?
Yes, I've had alcohol.
What did you have and when did you have that?
Probably got to from around about 11ish, somewhere near that time, and I was drinking vodka.
11 o'clock last night?
Yeah, it was in Snap's shop.
You've said when I've asked you if you're going to harm yourself, harm yourself, you said no. How are you feeling now? I don't know. Have you had any alcohol or drugs? Answered yes to the added vodka and Red Bull last night. You're not dependent on alcohol or drugs. You're not allergic to anything. And you haven't got any dietary or religious needs. And there's nothing else that I need to know about that might affect you while you're here. Would you say that's accurate?
Can we change it?
Which one?
Where it says dinner. Like I say, it's
Yeah.
a bit sad.
A bit sad, okay, that's not a problem.
I wouldn't even say a bit sad, I'd just say sad.
Sad. Okay. Change that for you.
During the interrogation, Wesley denied that he knew anything about Keeley's murder, insisting that he left her at the phone booth and went home. However, when the investigators checked his phone GPS, they saw that he had not gone home as he claimed. Instead, he had gone to the park, where Keeley's body was found. Also, CCTV footage, which has never been released, showed Wesley and Keeley walking together towards the park at 4:23 a.m. in the morning. In the footage, Keeley was reportedly seen trying to get away from Wesley. The two were inside the park for about 1 hour, and then Wesley was seen leaving the park by himself. But the GPS on his phone showed that he returned to the park several more times that day. Wesley's jacket and ATM card were found in the park. His DNA was also found all over Keeley's body. With this evidence, Wesley was charged with sexual assault and murder. Wesley's trial began in August 2020, and several people were called to testify. One was Keeley's best friend, Monique. She told the court she had known Keeley since the age of 10 or 11, describing her as one of my closest friends. She also said she had known Wesley since high school, adding, "He was just everybody's friend, just a friendly person." She told the court that she, Keeley, Wesley, and another male friend would often meet up at a bench in Wingington Park, near Tamworth Rugby Club, to smoke cannabis before going to bed. She said she and Keeley would never go without the other two. The night before her friend died, she said that they were using her phone since Keeley's phone was broken. They had arranged to meet Wesley once the concert ended at 10:10 p.m. He met them at a McDonald's near New Street Station, and the three of them went to Snob's nightclub. She said that they were in Snob's for around 3 hours, adding that she and Keeley drank around 4 vodka Red Bulls each in the club, but were not drunk. When asked how much Wesley had taken, she said, "Every time we had 1 drink, he had 3. He said he was drunk, a lot, towards the end of the night." She told the court that on the way home, Wesley said he felt really sick, and at one point asked the cab to pull over to let him out. She became emotional as she described the last moment she saw her friend, and how she had told her not to worry because she was with Wesley. Monique said that she messaged Keeley later in the day about a Snapchat memory of the two of them, but didn't get any reply. Then she messaged Wesley at around 1 p.m. asking, "Are you alright? Did you get home okay?" That's when he told her that he had left Keeley at the phone booth to walk the rest of the way by herself. But she said Wesley kept changing his story about what happened during their walk home. First, he said he went from the phone box to be sick in his house. Then he said he was sick outside of the house. It kept changing. A club goer named Josh, who had met the three friends in Snobs for the first time, also got to the stand and testified that while he was talking with Keeley, her friend called Wes kept coming up to them and shaking his hand. Josh described him as 9 out of 10 drunk, but silly drunk, not aggressive. Josh then told Keeley he had to leave. The two said their goodbyes and exchanged Snapchat contact details because her phone was broken. Josh said shortly after that, Wesley came up from behind and lifted Keeley up, but she laughed it off. He said that he messaged Keeley on Snapchat later that morning and asked if she got home okay, but he never received a reply. Later that day, he came across a missing persons appeal for her on Twitter and told his sister he had been talking with Keeley the previous night. At the beginning of the trial, Wesley maintained his innocence, claiming that when he left her, Keeley was alive and in a good mood, saying she seemed happy 110%. However, when presented with all the evidence, he changed his story, admitting that he was indeed in the park with Keeley when she died. He claimed that they were just playing around and he jumped on her back for a piggyback and she accidentally fell and fatally hit her head on the gate post. But Keeley's body injuries proved that was a lie. Keeley's cause of death was from someone deliberately applying pressure to her neck. No traumatic injury was found in her brain. Also, this does not explain how his DNA was found on Keeley's body. When confronted with this evidence, Wesley changed his story yet again, claiming that while they were walking toward the park, he and Keeley began flirting with each other. But again, he was shown CCTV footage of Keeley trying to get away from him. He claimed that they were just play fighting, and went on to say that when they got to the park, they began kissing and fooling around. He insisted that it was consensual and that while doing it, he placed his arms around her neck from behind and got carried away, ending her life accidentally. When he realized what he had done, he admitted that he tried to cover it up by dragging her body to the pond and covering her with branches. Wesley lived very close to the park and got home around 6:20 a.m., but went back to the scene 4 hours later to cover her body with more branches, hoping she wouldn't be found. He repeated this several times throughout the day until he was taken in for questioning. When asked why he lied the first time, he claimed, "I was scared and didn't know how to tell people how she died. I was scared to explain to the police, everyone, my mom and dad." However, the prosecution had another theory of how they believed things happened. On their walk home, Wesley managed to convince Keeley to go to the park to smoke, but when they got there, he turned on her in the most vile way. Can you imagine the sense of betrayal Keeley must have felt before she died? This was someone she had known and trusted almost her entire life, and he turned out to be just another disgusting predator. The claim that he had killed her accidentally in a moment of passion was also not true, because it would take more than a few seconds to take someone's life by putting pressure on their neck. The forensic doctor who examined Keeley said that she had hemorrhages to her eyes caused by pressure to the blood vessels, which said he would be consistent with strangulation. The doctor went on to say that there was a triangular-shaped mark on Keeley's neck, which was caused by her trying to remove someone from her neck, consistent with a fingernail scratch. She also had bruises on her face and scratches on her forehead. As the trial continued, more and more chilling evidence would be revealed to show the kind of monster Wesley really was. And as it would turn out, Keeley was not his only victim. So, Wesley had been living a double life. While he presented himself as the nice and friendly guy who was the life and soul of the party, he was, in reality, a serial predator who preyed on vulnerable young women. In 2015, he allegedly attacked a 16-year-old girl in a bathroom and a kitchen. Then, in 2017, he did the same thing to a 15-year-old. Months before he killed Keeley, he had attacked another 20-year-old woman. The prosecution believed there were more victims, but these three were the only ones brave enough to come forward. Only one of the victims had gone to the police and reported the attack before the murder. The other two came forward after hearing about Keeley's case. One woman told the court that she had met up with Wesley for the first time and exchanged Snapchat details. He later messaged her and told her that she was attractive and asked her to meet up with him. And she agreed, saying, "I just thought, why not? Give it a go." But this proved to be a mistake, as he ended up attacking her in his home. She said that for a while she had blamed herself for the incident because she had gone to his house. It wasn't until I heard the sad news concerning Keeley that I found the courage to tell someone. It was at that point that I felt the full force of what happened to me. But by that time I had already dealt with my grief in what I feel was a bad way. Another survivor said she never thought she would get over the traumatic experience, and it almost overwhelmed her. After what he did to me, I thought it was going to destroy me, but I haven't let it. I am glad the truth has come to light and that I, the other victims, and Keeley's friends and family are getting the justice that's deserved. The third victim said that she was really scared to tell anyone because of how ashamed she felt after the horrifying experience, but after hearing about Keeley's murder, she just had to speak out. After Wesley attacked me, I was scared to tell anyone. However, looking back, if something made me physically sick in your stomach, it's definitely not okay. When I speak out about my experience, I had to fight a lot of demons. A lot of insecurities I masked over the years came back. I have been left with a lot of psychological trauma. The prosecution said she understood how social pressure might have prevented the victims from reporting the incident. Keeley Bunker, our Keeley Bunks, was the kindest, most beautiful young lady you could ever wish to meet. Keeley was compassionate, loving, caring, and would put others before herself, always. Keeley loved everyone unconditionally, and nothing was ever too much trouble. She had many friends. She didn't realize just how many she had. We know that she was loved by all. We could never have wished for any more from Keeley. She was perfect in every way. Her life was taken away so cruelly and far too soon. As Keeley's family, the outcome of this trial will never be enough in terms of justice. It will never bring our Keeley back to us. We miss her so much, and words can never express the heartache we feel. Before Wesley was sentenced, the judge told him that while walking Keeley home that early morning, he was satisfied you persuaded Keeley to divert to the rugby club, probably on the pretext of going for a smoke. He said, "What took place in Willington Park is you proceeded to rape Keeley Bunker, in the course of which you murdered her by throttling her, in all probability, by placing her in a chokehold for a sufficient period of time to kill her." The judge said the chokehold would have been minutes rather than seconds. When you had finished with her, you decided to hide Keeley's now lifeless body by depositing it in the brook, covering it up with branches. You then walked back to your home, went to bed, and slept. The judge further said that Wesley had formed a carefully crafted scheme of lies following his crime, tailored to fit the evidence. He said that not only had Keeley lost the opportunity of fulfilling her life ambition, helping to educate young children, her family had lost the company of their beloved daughter, sister, and niece. He sentenced Wesley to a minimum of 30 years, but said, "You may never be released, as that will only occur if and when the parole board is satisfied it is no longer necessary for the protection of the public that you should be confined. Even if you are released, you will remain on license and subject to recall for life." After the trial, the lead investigator on the case said she welcomed the outcome of the conviction and sentencing and hoped that it would bring comfort to Keeley's family and friends. This devious and manipulative character, someone who repeatedly lied and targeted young women, is now behind bars, and I'm grateful to every single person who helped us reach this conclusion. What do you think about this case and its outcome? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button.